Hey everybody, this is Coach Brian Hart, and today we are going to be looking at active listening. Now, active listening is one of those core foundational skills that anyone that is interested in life coaching will become acquainted with. It is one of the core competencies of the ICF, something that they're going to be looking for in any training program, and anyone that is looking to be credentialed at any of their 3 levels of credentialing. So, active listening is a very important skill to develop. And it starts with understanding how to begin active listening, what it looks like, what it feels like. So you can tell that you are practicing active listening as you are in a conversation with your client, your friend, your loved one, or really anyone that you're having a conversation with. When your agenda, your thought processes, what you want to say, those things are in the background. You're setting them aside. They might try to get to the forefront of your mind, but you're setting them aside. And instead, you are really seeking to hear your client in terms of what they're saying, what they might not be saying. Like, since you know this client from previous sessions, or just based on your relationship with this person, what might they not be saying in this conversation? Also, how they're communicating something. And especially changes in how they're communicating, whether that's their energy, their pacing, their tone of voice, or their focus in the conversation. And active listening also picks up on key words that the client says. Sometimes the key words might be something absolute, everyone, every time, everything, always, all the time. Those absolute statements that are sometimes red flags or important keywords. Other keywords or key phrases might be when a client says something that is out of character, out of context for them, or they just seem to have a lot of depth and force and emotion to what they're saying. Active listening picks up on that and enables the coach to become curious about what's happening in the moment of the call for the client. And that's the last step of active listening, when the coach becomes more aware of not just what the client is saying and all these things about what the client is saying, but also how the client and the coach are interacting and how well this overall conversation is serving that client. Again, coaching is heavily benefits from active listening as one of the core competencies, one of the core skills. A coach offers themselves to the client. They set aside their agenda. They don't think about, in a conversation, the focus of a well-trained life coach is not on, what am I going to say? What's my response going to be? What's the clever or insightful or powerful question I'm going to ask now? It's more of a natural hearing, then reflecting, then responding conversation, where the coach is actively listening, then reflecting with the client on what the client is saying for the client. So it's not about the coach's agenda, it's about the client. And so as you learn how to become excellent in active listening, you get to have a very important place in the lives of your clients. Really, you become one of the handful of people that have ever really deeply listened to them and given them some opportunity to hear themselves for themselves in the conversation. So it's a very wonderful place to be as a life coach, and again, one of the most powerful things that you can do as a life coaching skill. What's next? I've got 2 videos here. First is level 1 and level 2 listening. One of the major distinctions that separates regular listening from active listening, and that's a very helpful filter for determining what kind of listening you are practicing in a coaching conversation. The second video here is listening for a client's agenda. Now, agenda is another one of the core competencies, agenda setting and agenda keeping. And so active listening is heavily engaged in listening for the agenda and listening for how the conversation is serving the client's agenda. Also, since this is one of the ICF core competencies, these videos are going to be a part of a playlist dedicated to the appropriate core competency. So in the show notes, you'll find the playlist for all of the active listening videos, and you can go through that and get a feel for what's expected from the ICF for active listening and what kind of skills and ideas, maybe some interviews, are out there for how to grow as a life coach when it comes to active listening. Thank you so much for watching here. I hope that you continue to grow as you seek to help others grow as you serve them as a life coach. Thank you.